Supreme Magus, web novel, Chapter 114, Half-Truth 2. Why didn't you tell her that you defeated it alone? Solis was surprised by the sudden turns of events. Because she didn't ask me how I managed to, or if I did have help. She jumped the gun and assumed it was a team effort. That means I didn't nerf the plant abomination enough, or simply that a kid killing a monster is unheard of. Anxious to change topic, Lith took out from the dimensional pocket the wooden box Rodimus had surrendered to him and one coded letter at random. Martianus Distar threw a glance at the letter, and being incapable to understand its meaning, just copied it with water magic. A flick of her wrist and ink flew from the well to a blank piece of paper, recreating the original in a few seconds. When the life-size replica of the box appeared, her expression became severe. I don't recognize the lock, but I know these runes. This isn't just a wooden box, it's a high-end dimensional item, capable of storing complex structures rather than single objects. It could even contain a whole furnished house. It's definitely something that a magical beasts hunter could never afford, let alone give it away to a stranger. Depending on what's inside, it could be worth thousands of gold, if not tens of thousands. But why are you showing it to me instead of Linhos? And why are afraid of it? After a deep breath to calm his nerves, Lith told her all about the vision and how it ended, along with his hypothesis about it. The last time we spoke, you told me you were on the Queen's side. If what the Dryad has shown me is true, then I need all the help possible to prevent these events from happening. With all due respect, the headmaster is a good man, but has proven to be too much of a naive fool to be trusted with such a delicate matter. He expected people not needing ballots, yet now they are all in use. He didn't predict that his radical changes would backfire so fast and hard, or if he did, his contingency plan must have failed big time. Also, he doesn't know me, you do. For him I could as well be a homesick boy pulling a prank. I don't have the time to make him listening to me and believe a ridiculous story about dryads, souls and visions. I need someone capable of seeing the bigger picture and reacting accordingly. Whatever this is, its ramifications go beyond the academy. The Martianess drummed her fingers on the desk, pondering about Lith's words. His judgment on Linho's character was harsh, but she fully agreed with it. And while the headmaster would take in account only the possible consequences for the academy and his precious students, she was capable of understanding also the political repercussions the events Lith described could have. Her fief was already torn apart by internal and external enemies, trying to replace her with someone more pliable to one side or another of the conflict. If a storm was really brewing under her nose, could she afford to ignore such a timely warning? The answer was no. After all the sacrifices she had made trying to protect her daughter and husband, after the failed assassination attempts, this was the first lead the Martianess had that could allow her to act instead of react. Also, it would give her an opportunity to prove her worth and loyalty to the crown in a moment of need, potentially reaping endless benefits. All things that made such information more valuable for her yet were meaningless to Linhos. The dedicated headmaster had no interest in politics, his mind seemed to be incapable to consider anything outside the boundaries of the academy. That what made him an excellent teacher also made him a terrible pawn. I wonder if he took all these factors in account before contacting me. It would be amazing for a youth of humble origins to be so cunning. He could be a great asset in the future, she concluded. From what I have seen in the past, the Martianess is not a power-hungry noble. She truly cares about her family. Also, she is the most powerful and influential person I know. If the civil war really happens, a backwater village like Lucia would simply be collateral damage. It's her city, Darios, the capital of the Marquisate, that would be first burned to the ground during the fights. She has much more to lose compared to me. In none of his existences Lith had ever cared for schemes. His reasoning was simple but straightforward. Fine. At those words, Lith sighed in relief. Finally his body was able to relax. The built-up tension quickly disappeared. No matter how crazy your story sounds, I believe you. There's only one problem. It's impossible to open warp steps inside the academy without the permission of a member of the staff. Hence, to get my hands on that box, I'll need to talk to Linhos first. He'll probably summon you kids to listen to your side of the story. If I were you, I'd expect him to be pretty pissed off from your lack of trust. Lith stared at the hologram with adamant eyes and a grave expression, without saying a word. That's the attitude. Face him like that and you'll have nothing to fear. More staring and silence ensued. Lith, she asked, starting to be worried. Is everything all right? His eyes remained sharp, yet a faint snoring became audible. Have you really fallen asleep with your eyes wide open? Wake up. The sound of her fist slamming on the desk did the trick. Sorry, I was absent-minded for a second, he said, buying time for Solis to bring him up to speed. I'll wait for the headmaster's call together with my companions. As per your request, they are still oblivious of our partnership. Do you want to keep things that way or can I inform them? At this point, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know what excuse you used to remain alone and make this call, but if you don't start telling the truth, you'll lose their trust. After closing the communication, Lith rushed towards Kyla's room, where his schoolmates were supposed to spend all day practicing triple casting and dimensional magic. What a rotten luck, to think that I'm forced to ask for help to a bunch of kids. Didn't you complain that you have grown stale as a person just a few hours ago? Maybe this is a good occasion to start opening up. Be positive for once. Yes, I did, but I was talking about stupid things like sharing feelings, hobbies and all that jazz. Not potentially entrusting some of my secrets to others. In his mind, Lith could see many obstacles riddling the path he had been forced to take. Linhos could summon to his office not only Lith, but also the others. And unlike the Marchioness, being able to see them calm and rested, he could see past Lith's lies. To avoid blowing the cover he had created over the years, Lith needed his so-called friends to perfectly play their part. There were so many things that could go wrong, and he had so little time to convince them to help him. Being caught unprepared was what he hated the most. His only remaining option was hoping for once in his life to be lucky. A few seconds after he knocked on the door, Floria let him in. The mood in the room was gloomy. All those present had dejected faces and black circles under the eyes. It seemed like they had finished a shift in a mine while mourning their grandfather's death. Thank the gods, you all look like crap,